Hello and welcome to Strictly on the Sofa.
The show where we overanalyse every sequin, every heel turn, and every dance disaster, all from the comfort of our living rooms. I'm Laura.
And I'm Flo. And luckily there's no dance disasters to overanalyse this week because it was the final.
The final countdown. Oh my god. I cannot believe that we're at the end of the series. I'm so bereft.
I know. I'm like, what do I do with myself today?
Honestly, it was like half. What time's it usually on? Like 10 to 8 or something like that.
Yeah.
Or does it finish at 10 to 8? 7:15 is when it's on. But I honestly was like, time for bed?
Yeah, I know.
What else is there? It's ridiculous.
Oh, rewatch the final. That's what I did with my day today.
Same. Rewatch the whole 2.5 hours. Because what else is there to do on a Sunday? Need to fill the gap somehow. But actually, I'm glad I did because it changed my perspective on the show. Because the winner for me was quite shocking. And
yeah,
I'm really chuffed, but like more chuffed now I've rewatched it.
Yes. Yeah, I was surprised. I think we both in the end wanted Faye to win, didn't we? We were watching together last night. So I think we both wanted Faye to win from literally just the dances that were done last night. I mean, she was incredible. But then we resigned ourselves to the fact that she wouldn't win because Joe would win with all of his votes. And so then the fact that Stacey won, we were like, oh, wow, okay, brilliant. But I had to kind of take a while to like get my head around it. So
it was like disappointment of a different kind for me because I've been Faye's champion all the way through, I think. And I maintain that I still would have liked her to win. For me, she feels like this year's Danny Mac.
Yeah.
But that's not a bad place to be. And Danny Mac himself always says that he hates people saying that he was robbed because he says that's not fair to RA, who was really good. And I think that's true of Stacey as well. Like, Stacey deserved to win. She was amazing.
Yes.
And having rewatched the show this afternoon, I think I realised that how much she deserved to win. I think I don't know, in retrospect, I was like, the fact that she actually, her foxtrot, for instance, I didn't like it the first time round because I didn't like it's a strong phrase, but like, I was a bit dubious about the music maybe and the concept.
Yeah.
Even though I loved that dress. And then actually to see her do that level of ballroom dancing, which got one less point, I think, one less point than Faye, who has danced before, and Ashley, who have both, I know it's a different genre for them and everything, but still they've danced before. It's amazing. She presents documentaries and look at her pulling out that ballroom routine out of the bag. And so, I'm really glad she won. She deserved it. She's worked hard to get to this point. And it was amazing to see her thrive.
Yes.
And also when her mum ran onto the dance floor, I sobbed. I actually sobbed. And then she got a hug from Aliash and Neil, and I was like, this is too much for me.
Oh, when they both lifted both of them up at the end and they were there with the trophy. Also, I mean, Kevin was like, visibly emotional, wasn't he?
Yeah.
If I have one small gripe, it was made a lot about Kevin winning. And I was like, well done, obviously, because he's been in the final so many times. It's obviously, undoubtedly been a very tough year for him. And kind of, well done to him for, showing that vulnerable side of himself. So but I was also like, well, Stacey's done a lot of work. She's improved so much. She's an incredible person in her own right. Like, I'm not just happy that they won because it's Kevin's year or whatever. It's like Stacey's amazing, and just his speech about her was lovely. I just thought that it was quite a bit about him. And
they celebrated a little bit apart when they first heard. And I know it's a shocking moment. You can't say what you're going to do when you've got like that. But that was a bit like they didn't hug each other. He went like Joe was the first person to hug her. Yeah. And I was a bit like, Kevin.
Yeah, I know.
But I also get it, I guess. Like, it clearly meant a lot to him, as we said. There was real emotion there. And again, watching it the second time, I didn't hate it as much. Like, I was a little bit more like, as you said, it just visibly meant a lot. I do think that was another reason why I felt a little bit disappointed with the result. It was because it did feel like a really long campaign of getting Kevin to win. And Flo made a very good point last night that every series is different. It doesn't matter how many finals you get to.
Yeah.
Like, every series you're going to have a new contestant. You're starting from square one.
You've got to prove that you deserve it every year. It doesn't matter what's gone before, because for Stacey, this is a whole new experience. So just the fact that Kevin has been in that many finals, that it does not guarantee that he should win at any point, you know?
And nothing's deserved either in Strictly, I would say. Because Oti is amazing. She's got to the final once, I think. Maybe twice. Once, I think. But she works just as hard with Graham as he did with Stacey, but she left earlier. Like, sometimes it's down to... He's had some very good partners.
Yeah,
and he's a really good choreographer. That is not taking anything away from that at all.
And obviously a good teacher as well, because the amount of improvement he brings to his partner. But yeah, I mean, Giovanni has been in the final like 3 times or something, hasn't he? Like, and he's had...
to see if anyone starts a campaign for him.
So yeah, I think, but I don't think it was necessarily their fault. I know we've spoken about this before, but it feels like it was kind of engineered that they would win, but it didn't necessarily come from them. And I think that's why it started to just get a little bit irritating, because I've supported them all the way through, you know, and it's only in the last couple of weeks that I've just been like, oh, just like calm down, let me like them in my own for my own reasons. So yeah, I mean, I'm very happy that they won. Yeah, I think they did, not just based on on last night, but based on the whole series. I think they've done some incredible, iconic dances. You know, I've cried at some of them. Like, there are definitely ones there that I would go back and watch again in, you know, months or years or whatever down the line. And I guess I was a little nervous that Joe would get the vote. Not like, again, I've really enjoyed watching Joe, but I didn't think that he had delivered the same, we spoke about this last week, didn't we, but like the same level of iconicness as all the other 3 women in the competition. And so I'm kind of pleased he didn't win. That sounds awful. Although what I was pleased about, were you going to say something?
Go on.
You know what I'm pleased about.
I know what you're pleased about. It's that they've finally gone official. Joe and Diane are in love, and we knew it. Last night, one of our friends was like, they're not in love, and we were like, have you seen them? They are clearly, like, I thought they were going to kiss about 3 times last night. Okay. Like, just be overcome with emotion. And every time Diane was like, I'm so proud of this man, I felt like she was holding back from saying, like, the love of my life. Do you know? I know that's not... It's probably early days or whatever, but I'm so happy they've made it official. Oh, it's such a sweet thing. I want to be their friend so I can know how it blossomed.
I know. I'm like,
I love romance stories. It's so sweet.
So yeah, I am pleased about that. Anyway, what were you going to say? I can't remember. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I know. It was, I was going to say that Stacey was probably second for me. If you know how I love Faye so much, like, I shouldn't be disappointed that Stacey had won at all, because I always said that she, in terms of iconic dances, I think Stacey delivered the second most iconic, a second amount of iconic dances, and I loved her. And maybe I didn't champion her as much as you did, but I did like her, and I always said that removed her from the hype. And I loved it, and I think that's what made it easier to rewatch today, because the hype has ended essentially. So when I rewatched their Foxtrot and I rewatched everything, I was like, actually, they're really good. This is amazing. And I did text Flo and said, like, I watched their Foxtrot and I was like, actually, that was really good. I really enjoyed that. And then Kevin opened his mouth and was like, I'm so proud of you again. And I was like, oh god. Like, it just loses its weight after a certain point. Like, I know it's positive reinforcement, but find some other words. And also, just I'm not putting a downer on it, because I'm really glad. Like, but there's something that I felt last night that I feel slightly less today, is that so their show dance, which I'm sure we'll talk about in a bit more detail, was a bit disappointing, and I agree with Craig that it was a lot of running around. I could see what I saw more when I rewatched it. What Kevin was trying to do with, like, having some of the iconic moments from their dances in the routine, but it did feel really bitty, and it didn't work for me. But it's the way Kevin looked to the audience, like, it was really panto, and I was like, no, Craig is a judge. You can't be like, I don't know. It was like, what, me an 8 and just take it on the chin. Like Diane got that 9 from Craig. Like they never got a 10 from Craig, and they were for their Charleston. Diane was just like, it's okay, and like she's clearly, it's not great, is it? But also, I think it's the idea that you need to have 40s in the final. Natasha Kaplinsky never got a 10.
Yeah,
like Jill Halfpenny was the first person to get a 40 in the second series, and like it's just not everyone gets a 10 in the final. Yeah, that's fine. Alicia Dixon tweeted Stacey saying, "I never got a 10 from Craig. You don't need a 10. Yeah, that's not what it's about."
Yeah, exactly.
And Faye and Ashley are outliers, not the goal. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And I can't remember now. But I agree with you on the show dance, and I actually thought that Kevin might have what's the word? Well, we called it done an errand Bogue last night, didn't we?
Unfair,
which is a bit unfair. Watching it back again today, but I just felt like he'd missed the mark with it. I don't know. It felt all a bit messy and a bit too much thrown in. Watching it back today, I did just find it very entertaining. So in the end, I was like, actually, no, I think it's good. This is fun. It's got a lot of energy to it and spirit, and that's what Stacey is all about. So I thought that was great. But yeah, in terms of actual dancing, I don't know. I think she's better than that, and he didn't show her off in the most in the best way. I don't think. And I was like, I think that's lost a bit. Glad that it didn't, but yeah, I thought that had
same. Like a lot of people on Twitter were saying that Faye had won based on last night, but I think Stacey had already won Hearts and Minds.
Yes, exactly.
But
and
but
as
we just didn't know it.
Based on the whole series, then definitely. Because I think as well, I don't know if it was undermarking of Stacey or overmarking of Joe, but I didn't think that the leaderboard was the right order. I've got a real against Joe this week for no reason, because I've loved watching him, but it was just that I didn't think he should win. And I don't know, he was getting 10s for dance. I know it's the final, so all the judges go a bit all over the place, don't they? But it's Paso, I didn't think it was that improved. And it meant that Stacey was bottom of the leaderboard. Actually, I don't think, even with that show dance, I don't think she deserved to be there.
No, I think she should have been third on the leaderboard. And also, that's what I mean, though. It felt like the judges felt pressure to give 10s, and I was like, you don't have to give 10s just because it's the final. Like, it's absolutely fine for them to get 36, because they could still win it. You're just a guideline, and that's still very good for novice dancers. Like, if you go, they've got nowhere to go next year. Do you know what I mean? The only person ever to get like a perfect game before Ashley and Faye was Caroline Flack in 2010. So it doesn't happen a lot. Let it not happen a lot. It doesn't have to be 10s all the time. What I thought about Stacey and Kevin's show dance, and I think this is where, so I agree, I think she's better than the show dance showed her off to be. And I understand he was trying to be crowd pleasing, but I think there's a fine line between choreographing someone well to their strength and actually being a bit sneaky and seeing what you can get away with. And I felt it was a bit sneaky on the sneaky side, rather than he's done a really good job of just doing the bits that she's good at, because I think he is really good at tailoring things, and we've praised him before on the podcast about how he is good at tailoring to the partner that he has. But yeah, it just felt a bit like, okay, you're really not trying. You've really gone for the panto side, and it wasn't for me. But I think she proved that she was better than that in her foxtrot on her passo.
Exactly.
Although that passo, so I love when she strides to the centre of the floor and looks so cool, but I'm also just sort of like, a cool person can pull that off. Like, I'm not cool, I couldn't pull that off ever. It just, I'm jealous.
I'm jealous. She's so cool in that passo, isn't she? I was glad that glad that they did that one, because it was a complete different side of her, and she does it so well. The foxtrot, I don't know. I really like it. As a dance, I think it's lovely, and I was really pleased they'd chosen it again. But we said it at the time, the music, I just hated it. And so it's just a shame, because I think there's other dancers I would have preferred the judges to pick. I wish she'd done her tango again.
Yeah, I can't believe they didn't pick her tango.
I know, I just loved it. I loved that, and
there was room for improvement on that tango as well. It would have been amazing to see how amazing it could have been week, 13.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, but overall, I really enjoyed watching them dance last night, and as I say, over the whole series, they've been such a joy to watch. So many jaw-dropping, iconic moments where I was like, ah. So yeah, well done, Stacey and Kevin.
I'm really glad they won. Well done, Stacey and Kevin.
Is this appropriate? I want to call her the People's Princess.
Genuinely though. Her mum is called Diet.
That's true. Oh, it's so true.
Also, I will say this though, as much as I'm really glad that Stacey won, and I am, but this is the second time a Clifton has robbed me of my personal victory, and I'm furious. So, but no, I'm glad. I am glad. Should we go up the leaderboard and talk about Joe properly then?
Yeah. Let's talk about Joe properly. So, his passo. I liked that dance first time round, but I didn't think he'd improved that much on it, and he still looked a bit like he was carrying plates of food. And his Charleston I really enjoyed watching. I thought that was super fun.
You know what, I really did enjoy his passo a lot more on the second. I know I keep saying on the second time, but on the rewatch I enjoyed it a lot more.
Okay.
And it got off on the right knee. That's an improvement.
Yeah.
And also I watched that little grin this time because I missed it the first time around. It is really cute that he does that
when he does the right step, you're like, oh, well done, Joseph. So
he was very cute, and I think it's that. I think he deserved 9s. Did he get 9s the first time round for it? Because I think he was he overmarked the first time round for it? Did we say that he was? I can't remember.
I can't remember now.
It felt, I think because he was after Faye, and Faye had got all those 10s. I was a bit like, are you having a laugh? That was nowhere near as good as Faye's.
Yeah. Yeah,
I think he suffered perhaps by being after Faye, and so I was like, they're not comparable at all. Because I definitely think I deserve 9s for the passo. I really enjoyed it.
I just sort of got the sense that the judges assumed he would maybe win, or because of the number of votes that he would presumably get, that he would probably win, and they needed to justify it somehow with some really good marks.
Yeah, I agree.
That sounds super cynical, doesn't it? Because he's improved so much. Again, he's worked so hard. He's been wonderful to watch. I love their partnership. So yeah, obviously love their partnership. But even if they weren't, I think they've had a brilliant partnership. It's been great to watch. So,
and he has been fully committed.
Yeah,
I agree with what Craig said, that he has lived and breathed dancing. He's not ever been embarrassed or hesitant. Threw himself into it.
Yeah, completely. I thought he was gonna enter this and be oh lol, I'm a bit too cool for this, or they'd be doing really stupid moves every week, oh, I'm the social media idiot, and he wasn't. He's really he genuinely looks like he's put everything into it and embraced it, and not been too scared or too cool to come out and actually just go for it, which is great.
Yeah,
I
agree. I think he was just, I don't know. I liked him last night. I think he's just sweet, isn't he? I like him a lot more. I'm a fan.
What did you make of his show dance?
I wasn't keen on it for a start, but on the second time round, I really, really enjoyed it. I had the same thing. Stacey's, I was still disappointed by it on the second rewatch, to be honest. I was still a bit this is a lot of wafting. Slightly better. Maybe if I rewatch it 10 times, I'll love Stacey's show dance. But Joe's show dance, genuinely, I was like, oh no, this is quite compelling to watch. I'm enjoying this. The trampoline in itself, really quite a nice idea. Diane was right. So, the difference is, Kevin said on his show dance, we are attempting something that's never been done on Strictly before. And what that turned out to be was a set. And when Diane said, "Oh, I've just thrown the kitchen sink at this," she meant a frigging trampoline on like a really high like platform. So, do you know what I mean? I feel like it did feel more show dancey. It did feel like there was a lot going on in it. And he also did put a bit of everything. There was a bit of quick step, I think, a bit of, you know.
There was. I don't know. It was good seeing everything in it like that. I think it was really good. And again, it was quite entertaining. But my sister, we were watching it again today, and she like hit the nail on the head of why I found it a bit like eye-rolly. She said that it seems like a school disco and all the year 6 boys just like, they don't dance, they just run around in a circle on the dance floor.
Yeah, that's so true.
And I was like, yeah.
I enjoyed it, but yeah, I couldn't get behind that. That's very true. But I was a bit dubious about it as well because of the music, and I was like, oh god, I bet you look good on the dance floor. Like, we love Arctic Monkeys, but you know when you find out someone's doing a dance to it and you're like, it's not even a key song either. Like, it's just a bit. It's very year 6 school disco.
Yeah, exactly. It was like, go for the tweenie vote again. Why don't you? Like,
it's what you've been trying to discover when you're 16, isn't it?
Exactly.
And you're like, it's just great and fine. You should have an introduction to the Arctic Monkeys. They're great, but like, it's just it was a bit like, oh, no. But it was actually exceeded expectations. Possibly because they were a bit low. But I liked the bit where he smashed the guitar. Didn't care for the bit where he strummed Diane's leg.
Yeah. It was that kind of thing that I was like, oh, will you stop? But I just like, it's almost like
the hype. The thing is, with the hype, I was initially like eye roll that they did the hype in the final. I was like, okay, I like the fact that people put in these little bits of routines at the start, like when Graham flossed and stuff. But I'm like, not in the final, mate. But then the thing is with the hype, I can't do it, and I find it so impressive. So I'm actually like, yeah, do it. Even though like, part of me is a bit like, yeah, as I said, a bit eye-rolly, but no, I want to see people do the hype every day of my life because I don't know how to do it. And every time I watch it, I feel like I'm trying to put it in slow-mo and be like, how are you doing this? But, yeah, I don't know. Loved it.
So yeah, anyway, I mean, of all the dances, I actually really enjoyed his Charleston. I thought that was great, and like he showed the most improvement because it had been quite an early on one. So it's really good seeing him do that again.
I wish they'd give him a different song for his Charleston.
Yeah,
but I did enjoy it, and I liked his sparkly shirt.
Yeah,
he had. I think I would have been disappointed if he had won, not because I don't like him, because I do really like him, but just because of what we said about iconicness. Like, I don't think I'll watch many of his dances next year, whereas I think I'll still be watching Faye's and Stacey's in like a year's time.
Definitely.
So that's where I'm at with him. But I liked his Charleston. Do you know what? I liked his Charleston less than I liked his show dance, though.
Oh, interesting.
Controversially.
Yeah, controversial.
I don't know if that's a song or not.
Yeah,
like, maybe. I just found his Charleston quite hard to watch and just fit one note. Like, I didn't like that ladder joke very much.
Yeah.
Maybe because it was a series, like a week 2 routine or something.
I think they put much more of the like novelty stuff into the first couple of weeks, don't they? I have no idea why, but they do, like ladder tricks and stuff. So, anyway.
Deserved finalist.
Definitely a deserved finalist. It was really good to have him in there as well in the mix. And just surprised he didn't win.
No. A genuine shock. We all were like, oh!
Yeah. What? Oh, okay. So, shall we talk about Faye next?
The love of my life.
Our winner. Okay.
The best thing, I felt so vindicated last night because there was a group of us watching it, and I would say for a good few weeks I was the only Faye fan, I was the not the only, and you all liked her, but I was the one being like, Faye to win, and everyone last night was like, yeah, Faye to win, and I was like,
yeah.
I'm right.
I was almost expecting her. I didn't think she would win, but I thought there's a big chance here because all of us in the room had gone like, wow, actually, she really can dance. And she pulled it out of the bag, didn't she, for the final? It was just another level, and I thought it was incredible.
I just think if you'd never seen Strictly before, you didn't know who, or you never seen Steps before, if you tuned in, and this is no disrespect to Giovanni, because sometimes I think it can be a bit like, what, they're not as good, but I genuinely don't know if you'd know who the professional was. Like, she looked like she'd been ballroom dancing all her life.
Yeah.
It was beautiful. That Viennese waltz. And I was slightly annoyed that they had chosen that Viennese waltz when I heard that they were doing that. Not because I didn't want to see it again, but it was because Faye has done so many iconic dances. I really wanted to see her do a quick step again.
Yeah.
Because they did a compilation video on YouTube on last Monday where they put all of the finalist dances in one big, like, 12-minute video.
Wow.
And when it got to Faye's quick step, like, it seemed like time sped up. Like, all of a sudden she did iconic dance after that quick step, because she did quick step, then she did the tango after that, and I think it was theatre jazz after that. Do you know what I mean? Like, it just went from best, like, she kept improving. And so I just wanted to see the quick step again.
Yeah, it would have been really good to see the quick step again. But
on the other hand, that Viennese waltz was incredible.
And to see that improvement, because the quick step was already pretty much perfect for me, but for the Viennese waltz, to see her improve from like week 2, was it, she did it? And just love it, like, that take on a Viennese waltz had so much drama and passion in it. Like, oh, they did so well. I love that.
Her frame is just beautiful. She's just a stunning dancer. And I could watch her forever. Like, I love her. I really, really rate her. Yeah. And I was watching, like, her VTs and stuff. Like, because I've watched it a bit more, like, not properly, but you know when you're not with a group.
Yeah.
So I was intently is the word. And I was crying at, like, her VTs. And I think, and I tweeted this earlier on our account, but I think I know now why I respond to her a little bit more closely than I did to Stacey. And I think it's like, you can tell how much she's a Strictly Come Dancing super fan. She watches it and you can tell how much she loves being on it, and how much she loves dancing, and how much, like, the way she's so proud of herself when she comes off, but not in a way like, oh, I'm really good at dancing, but like, oh my god, I did it.
Almost shocked that she actually did it every time. And it's real, I think. I don't think it's like fake humility. I think she's genuinely like, oh my god, I can dance. And that's what, so people said that Faye didn't have a journey. I really think Faye did have a journey. But like, so as I said, from quick step and whatever, but it wasn't like that quick step was as good as what she could do in week 12. Do you know what I mean? Like, she really has improved, but I think she's improved confidence wise, and you can really see her coming out and being ready to do it. And what I felt like with her show dance and with her couple's choice is that she had said, oh, I'd love to do a Ginger Rogers routine, and Giovanni was like, okay. And so she got to do what she loved. You know what I mean? It didn't feel like it was like, oh, we're going to play to your strengths, you're really quite good at the theatre stuff. I think it was that that's all she's ever really wanted to do, be Ginger Rogers. Like, she's the classy, like, thing. And so her show dance was absolutely phenomenal. I loved
best show dance of the night.
I loved the show dance. So many times show dance is just a bit hit or miss, isn't it? Because they chuck so much into it, but it can go wrong, or not go wrong, but like not be to my taste. But like, that was so good. I enjoyed it so much. That was like dance of the night for me.
It's such a delight to watch.
Yeah.
I was a bit dubious about it because I don't really like 42nd Street much. Well, don't like it, but I think I've not seen it, so maybe it's one of those shows that you need to see because it's all the dancing, isn't it, rather than songs. But I thought, when I first listened to the song, I was like, this feels a bit slow, but it wasn't at all. It was so exuberant, and I love that bit where they were like, I can't explain it, I don't know what the actual move is called, so I'm going to say punching the air. Like, I loved it. I thought that was so good, and I love them together. They're in sync, aren't they?
Yeah,
if she doesn't get an incredible job after this, because she has been reliably amazing.
Yeah, completely. She's she's brilliant.
I adore her.
Yeah.
And
120 out of 120, completely deserved. I think
completely
she's amazing.
And moving on to her couple's choice, I have to say one thing about her couple's choice, and it's not that I didn't enjoy it. I don't think they should be allowed to do couple's choice in the final.
Oh, interesting.
Because I think it's a specialist dance, and I really like the couple's choice concept. I'm not against that at all. I think it gives dance, like Charles, it gave him a chance to shine where he was struggling, and actually he improved after that. quite a lot on all the other dances.
Yeah.
So it makes me wonder whether like sometimes I just need that boost.
Yeah.
So I like the fact they get to shine in all the different dances. It introduces us to different forms of dance and shows us that it's not, you know, genres of things in dancing. Like, just because you're good at one doesn't mean you're good at the other and whatever. So I like it, but I also think I think it should be, it's a ballroom and Latin competition. So although they have 1 week where they get to do something like that's different, which they should be able to do, I think that maybe they shouldn't be allowed to do couple's choice in the final. They should have to do one of the Latin or ballroom ones.
I buy that.
On the other hand, her couple's choice is absolutely iconic.
I was going to say, we wouldn't have got to see it again if not. So,
and it's my favourite dance of the series, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Incredible.
I'm glad she did it, but I just think they should ban it.
Yeah. So, yeah, I loved it. I thought it was just brilliant. So glad she got 40 for it. Like, she should have got 40 first time out, but whatever. It was brilliant.
Oh, my God. It's just everything in sync. And I find it quite sexy. When he's holding her and she's on, like, point.
Yeah, no, I'd like definitely.
And when she leaps off that table, oh my God, it's just gorgeous.
Yeah.
It's so gorgeous. I love them.
So,
I dressed Faye in that.
Yeah. Everyone should just go onto our Twitter and see Laura's outfit from last night because she looked incredible. It was basically Faye's couple's choice outfit, but minus the makeup, obviously. The Halloween makeup.
I'm just going to dress Faye Tozer for the rest of my life and hope it sticks because I love her.
Do it.
I just cried so much during her VT, like I can't even tell you. Yeah. Like I cried, like I felt like I was welling up a bit during Stacey's VT, and then Faye's VT came on, and that was it. Crying the whole way through, and then Diane burst into tears during Joe's VT, and that was that for me as well. So I'm just so happy, and they all love dancing.
Okay, so the last person to talk about is Ashley. So I mean, again, she did so well. I really enjoyed watching her dance,
and I really like her. You know, she's a nice girl.
She is, isn't she? I've just come around to her so much over the series. So we all knew she wasn't going to win, but I'm so glad she was in the final. And you know, if she had won, I would have been like, that is very fair. I'm very pleased about that. So yeah, well done, Ashley.
It almost made her like looser, maybe not knowing she was going to win. Like I feel like she was a bit more there to enjoy herself. And her salsa was so much better. I didn't think she could like. That just goes to show actually how hard she's worked because it had improved.
It had, exactly.
So much better. I cried when I watched it today. I think she should have. The judges should have chosen the Charleston and she should have chosen the salsa to have the I've had the time of my life moment at the end of like as her last dance.
Yes.
This was just that would have been so moving, I think. But that lift was gorgeous and I love it.
She did it so well.
I hope she does that on tour.
Yeah. She it was brilliant. It was so good. Also her Charleston, because that's actually one of my favourite dances that she did from the series. I loved that, and she was like super cute.
Super cute. And when she wags the finger at Pasha, also Pasha and her really have a partnership, don't they?
Yeah,
and also we saw more of their training VTs, and I wonder if that, you know, which was quite nice. Yeah, I really like that, like little goofiness and the jumping, like his belly. It's just perfect. They're really sweet together and I really enjoyed them. And what did you think of her show dance?
So this is another one that I'm glad I rewatched because last night I did think it was excellent, but I found it very, very close to their contemporary dance that they'd done, but just not with the same depth of emotion. So for me, last night I found it a little underwhelming, and then I watched it again today and really enjoyed it and was like, wow, this is like, just judging this in itself, not against their contemporary, this is really good. And even though, it wasn't as like emotionally moving as her contemporary in terms of it being like sad and grieving and everything, but actually she looked like she was enjoying it so much. Like she just had this smile on her face and like you could just tell she was absolutely loving being up there performing. And so second time around it definitely was, I mean, technically incredible. But just like part of me is just a little bit like, would have liked it to have just been slightly different, something slightly, because she can do it. That's the thing. Like, she doesn't need to repeat things because she can basically master anything she puts her mind to. But yeah, what did you think?
I agree completely. Actually, I thought it was lovely being able to see like her mum being so proud of her, and like, I mean, as family members are, I guess, but because I think it had. She said that Strictly's made her fall in love with dancing again, and you can absolutely see that, can't you? As you said, like, as you know how I said that, I feel like Faye is what we're Strictly fans. We all imagine what we'd want to be like on Strictly, and I would like to be like Faye.
Yeah.
I'd be more like Anne Widdecombe, but I'd like to be like Faye. And I feel like Ashley is also had that really, like, she's really, you can tell how, as you say, you can tell how much she was loving being on there, and she said that what Darcy said is completely true. The athleticism she needs to be able to do any of those moves, she's insane. But I agree, it felt, because it was contemporary, it felt a bit like a rehash of her, of what we've already seen her do. But then I guess that's fair if that's the one she enjoyed the most. And it's a show dance, there are no rules, are there?
Exactly.
But I think we all just have really high expectations for Ashley, and she did. On rewatching it, really, she'd met them. But on first thought, I was like, oh, I wanted. I think it's probably that I just didn't want contemporary show dance.
Yeah.
Like, at least, so Faye's was very theatre jazzy, but it did have a lot of ballroom in it as well. It was more. I think it was more American smooth than Broadway, actually.
Yeah.
Also, is it a bit not on that we say, oh, you brought Broadway to the... I know it was the song, Lullaby of Broadway, but a bit naughty that we call it, like, oh, you brought Broadway to Elstree, and I'm a bit like, but can you not say the West End? Because, like, the West End's really good too. Like, can we start having this inferiority complex over Broadway, please? But I know it's because the song's called Lullaby of Broadway. I know.
But no, yeah, I mean...
but anyway. Ashley did an amazing job. I think everyone pulled it out of the bag last night, actually. Although I was initially disappointed with Joe's show dance, and we said that we really needed him to pull it out of the bag if he was going to win, which he obviously didn't, but whatever. I think he did, really. Like, that bit where he jumped through the amp was quite cool, and his pass, like, I probably would watch his passo at least again, I don't know. But I feel like everyone just did a really good job, and it was really nice to watch. And I think another reason that I don't mind Stacey winning so much, or I'm less disappointed that Faye didn't, is seeing everyone come back for the final, and they are really good friends with each other.
I
like,
love that when they all come back and they look genuinely happy to be back together and dancing together, and then when they win at the end of it, all they're hugging, and it's like, God. I know it sounds ridiculous, but when I know to focus on two people like this, but when Graham really hugged Faye at the end, and Graham is like you know how I said, like, oh, I definitely know I love Graziano because Graham loves Graziano, or I definitely know Graham Graziano is a good man because Graham loves Graziano. When, like, just see Graham, like, hugging Faye that much just made me really chuffed. Like, they've clearly all gelled, because I think Faye's quite quiet. I don't know, I might be wrong. No.
But and so it's just really nice to see them all loving each other like that. Then, like, Kevin like gave Graziano Kevin was essentially sobbing on Graziano at one point, and I was like, it was just a joy to see them all friends with each other. It just makes you think maybe the real glitterball is the friends we made along the way. So I just think they're all winners, really, aren't they? Like, no one lost out. Not even Susanna lost out. She was happy to be there. And also, really nice to see, so on Instagram and stuff, Vic was talking to Kate and Susanna, and she was like, oh, my Strictly mums. And I was quite happy that they're still including Susanna on part of his journey, even though she left quite so early.
Definitely.
It's so nice.
Yeah, definitely.
It's just nice to see them all happy, and they all that group dance was one of the best returning group dances I've ever
I
done.
really enjoyed watching it. They made a whole new dance, but like threw in all the little elements of their like iconic moves they'd done. I thought it was brilliant, actually, rather than just sort of wheeling them out and being like, oh, I remember when they used to be on. They made
It used to be like they danced on the dance. They used to just come on, do a little bit of the dance that they left on, and then like go and sit at the side or whatever. But no, this was amazing that we got to see a bit of Danny's jive, Sean and Katja's amazing slow-mo routine, which whatever else happened, that's this series. I will rewatch that dance because it still gives me a bit of chills. I really like Charles's like street dance, and they all had the hankies. And then when Kate came out with her leg out of the curtain, she is so beautiful, that woman, and so charismatic as well. And like I don't know if I'm reading too much into it, but when she didn't stumble and Aliash wiped his brow with the hanky they just used in the Karen and thingy showdowns, and Casey being back, this series is a really good series.
I know. I can't believe how long we've been podcasting for, though. I think back to like Katie, and I'm like, oh my god, that was ages ago. But yeah, it's been an excellent series. I've really enjoyed it.
Me too. I really love everyone. Like, thank you to you guys for listening to us as well. And it's been really lovely talking about Strictly in this much depth, to be honest. I've really loved it.
It's been great, and thank you for listening along to us and all your comments and everything. Considering that we know nothing about dancing, like we're just absolute amateurs, and people have really got on board with it. So yeah, thank you so much for listening. It's been a joy to bring our Strictly thoughts to the world.
It really has, and it's just made me definitely make sure I watched it properly this year. Like, if I missed the first few episodes a few years ago, as much as I love it, because they're 3 hours long, I might have not caught up, and this year I had to, and it was really nice to do that. Strictly is a joy, and I just think it, however much I complain about Kevin's campaigning, or is there anything else I complain about? The Strictly curse not being an actual thing. Strictly brings joy to the world, and it's really fun to be I felt like we should have been at the rap party last night, though. I was a bit over invested. I was like, why are we not there?
I know.
Yeah, it's been lovely, and I really, I'm gonna miss it.
I know. I literally don't know what to do with myself. January is gonna be a long month.
I know. Right, I think we need to end on this saying what we think is our favourite 2 dances. Should we give ourselves 2 dances? Our favourite 2 dances of the series. Okay. And maybe we'll do a little run through on Twitter of like give ourselves 10. But for now, let's just do 2.
Okay, yeah. Okay. Go ahead. You start.
My first one is actually, I don't know if this is cheating, but my first one is the Remembrance Day pro dance, because I've watched it every day for the week since it's been, every week since it's been on, and I've cried every time.
Oh,
like every single time. And Flo was there when we watched it the first time, and she was like, oh my god, are you okay? It was just a lot. And my favourite bit is when Giovanni and Amy's doing, because it was like really contemporary, wasn't it? It had contemporary elements, and she was reaching out, and Giovanni was like supporting her, and it was just a lot, and I really enjoyed it.
It was amazing. My favourite bit was the bit where Amy was like lifted up and like rose right up into chills. Yeah, okay, and my first pick is going to be Ashley's Contemporary, because it just, like, I still watch it, still get chills. It just moved me so much. I just thought it was absolutely amazing. And that was the point where I went from being like, oh, she's just like an irritating pro dancer, to being like, actually, she's really put so much commitment and emotion into this, and she's actually incredible. So that would be my first choice. What's your second?
I'm really struggling with this. Oh my god, I'm finding this really hard, because I was going to say Stacey's Tango, but it's not Stacey's Tango, and then I was going to say Faye's Couple's Choice, but I actually think it's Faye's Charleston.
Oh, interesting.
I've honestly watched that every, like, not even every week, every day since that was been on. I know it's been like only a couple of weeks, but like, oh my god, it's my happy place. I'm obsessed with it. It's so good. It's the synchronicity, the fact that she's acting as a puppet in the little wood. Like, I know some people found it creepy, but as I said, I said it on that week on the podcast. It's my kink. I'm obsessed with it. It's just so good, and it's like the little bits where the music goes wind up. I think it's insane. Yeah. Plus the goats in the background, hilarious. I just, if I'd had the dress, I would have dressed as her in her Charleston last night instead of the Couple's Choice. But unfortunately, I had a bow tie, but not a goat herder's outfit.
That's fair. Okay, well, I'm glad you didn't say Stacey's Tango, because that's my one! Yay!
Oh, I'm so pleased someone
Yay!
said it.
Finally. And I'm not even a big Doctor Who fan, so this is like something else. I just thought she was amazing. She just like owned that dance. And I think it was the first time I was probably like jaw dropped about how she could dance, and like, wow, she's really, really one to watch. So yeah, I thought that was absolutely brilliant, and I loved, I loved their partnership in that. I loved how Kevin had made it all about her and really put her in the spotlight. I loved him as his little, what's it called? The Cyberman. I was going to say cyborg. What's that? Anyway, mixing my sci-fi things. So yeah, I thought it was just absolutely beautiful, but also really powerful, and a sign of amazing things to come and worthy winners.
Definitely on that, like me and Mum still say that we think that deserved 10, or like at least 1 10. And that bit where she walks like to the center of the dance floor and then like comes back and hold with him is just beautiful. Like I do rewatch that quite a lot. It's amazing, and I think it does come down to what you rewatch. And I got laughed at last night, and they were like, "Oh, if you're still watching that in 2020, like you need to get a grip." And I was like, "I still watch Danny Mac, and that was 2 years ago."
Exactly. We're strictly super fans. What can we say?
Exactly.
Anyway,
I can't believe it's over.
I can't believe it's over. I'm like, I don't want to stop recording.
No, oh my god.
Well, thank you so much for listening, everybody, and keep dancing.
Keep dancing.
Maybe we'll be back next year. Yeah. Who knows?
I'm sure we'll still be tweeting about Stacey's Tango and Faye's Charleston specifically so please do follow us on Strictly on Sofa on Twitter. And yeah, keep in touch. I'm sure we'll see you soon.
Thank you for listening. Goodbye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Strictly on the Sofa. Our theme tune is It's Fate 2 by Ben Corbett, licensed under Creative Commons. You can follow us on Twitter at strictlyonsofa or email us at strictlyonthesofa@gmail.com. We'll see you next time. Bye!